Hello, I'd like to show you a variety of roses which are edible, well most of them are edible, made from different ingredients. Now the roses I'm showing you here are all made from the roll-out type icing that covers cakes with. It's got about 7 different names depending on which part of the world you live in, but if you think of the word roll-out icing, I think that covers it. In the USA it's called fondant icing, and in the UK it's called sugar paste, but it is the same type of icing. These are quite large for a large cake. They were made in white icing and then dusted to make the edges pink. Some of the icing was made coloured and some of it wasn't. Sometimes I put the colour in and I leave it slightly streaky because that makes quite a pretty rose. Now these are made really in the same way, and can I say all these 3 lots of roses are all hand modelled. There's no cutters involved. These petals are made in the same way as the petals on these roses are, but instead of being all put together you just have 5 of them in a little mould and you overlap them. The centres are made by pushing the icing through a sieve and cutting it off, and they make very good stamens and tiny little berries, so that would be nice for a Christmas cake. The next lot of roses I want to show you are made out of chocolate. These are made from white chocolate and they've been dusted. Once it was firm, they've been dusted with a pink edible dust. The chocolate is mixed with liquid glucose, and the liquid glucose makes the chocolate malleable so that you can mould it. Again, the centres of these roses have been made by pushing the sugar paste or marzipan. You can use marzipan as well. When I say sugar paste, I'm going back to the word I usually use, but if I say the roll-out icing. And also, I always think that when you've got flowers like this, you need some leaves because they highlight the colour of the roses. And then this large one is made out of the same type of icing, which is called modelling chocolate, made out of chocolate with the liquid glucose and coloured. You can buy the modelling chocolate ready-made, or you can make it yourself. The next set of flowers are rather more difficult because they're wired, and although I said at the beginning most of the flowers you could eat, you can't of course eat these because they have the wires in. And these aren't made by hand, these petals. You have a paste which is stiffer than the roll-out icing, and you roll it out, and you need really, if you want the petals to be very thin, to roll the paste out until you can see through it, and then you cut the petals and you mould them. This is called flower paste. And finally, these are roses which were made in a very pale pink, and then the centres were dusted and tiny little leaves were piped without a nozzle, just with the end of an icing bag cut in a V shape. These are made out of royal icing, egg white and icing sugar, very well beaten and quite stiff. If I'd have made the icing too soft or let it get too soft, the petals wouldn't have been so defined and they wouldn't have held their shape. So that's a selection of roses. This type of rose would be very nice on the sides of a wedding cake, garlanded round a wedding cake, and the others can go on the top of the cake. I mean, you could have this red rose just sitting on top of a cake. But as I showed you, there's quite a variety of ingredients you can use if you're making roses for cakes. Goodbye then.